Return to Glory podcast. Hunter Zarbernicki, Austin Rose, Dakota Freetag. Nebraska is 7-3 for the first time in a long time. We cannot get worse from last year to this year from an overall record standpoint. It's a good feeling, boys.
Yeah, like I was trying to get my thoughts, and it feels like when you graduate high school, and it's just like, wait, that's it? Like, it feels good, but I don't know. You just thought you feel special, but it's like, oh no.
So we've returned to glory. That's what you're saying. We've returned.
I don't know if I'd say we've returned to glory.
This is our last podcast. That was it. The seventh win did it.
That was it.
That's exactly how. It's exactly how everybody thought Nebraska was going to get their seventh win coming in the season. TJ Lateef leading the team, looking great. That's exactly how it was going to go.
Yeah. No, it went better than I thought it was going to. I thought we were going to lose, but I thought it was going to be because we were going to turn the ball over, and I thought they were going to actually let Lateef pass the ball, but they didn't have to.
So weird concept.
Yeah.
Weird concept when your quarterback can run.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really what he did on the ground. He didn't do a lot on the ground.
Oh, Austin, we're just going to have a fun podcast. We're going to have a fun podcast. But yes, it was a good win. It is UCLA, and there's a lot of different ways to look at this, and I think all can be true. Like of what we say, it is just one game. It was UCLA, but there definitely was some different things that happened this game, and to where it was a little bit probably shocking and surprising. I'm not sure why it should be, but the biggest thing that I saw was we stepped up and played hard. And I mean, that to me is a credit to the program on where it's at and not folding when there's a lot of maybe adversity right now for different reasons. It just shows that we've taken a step forward, I guess, to overcome some of those things. And I think it's a step, right? It's not for me. It's not, well, we can't overreact, and that's what podcasts are kind of for. And I guess fans in general, and the overreactions have already started, obviously, but I do think it's a step. It's a first, I don't know, next step, but there's 2 more games left. I think that's the big thing. And UCLA was the easier opponent, right? And obviously we're talking a lot about TJ and this offense without Dylan, but I'm just going to say in general with this program too, of where it's at and where the belief and concepts and thoughts are moving forward. There's still 2 more games of the season. And yes, we could sit here and talk, and we'll probably get a little bit to it about the future of Nebraska football after this year. But I do think it's important to notice where we're at now, because things are just going to change, obviously, in today's college football world in season 2, but from one season to the next, going to look very, very, very different. And we could sit here and talk about that every episode and for a long time on what we think and ad nauseum about that. But I also think we need to appreciate and where we're at now and what this season, what this game meant first off, and then, where it leads us to think for the rest of the year in year 3 under Matt Rule. That's how I want to tackle today a little bit, is try to keep it, but the game focused a little bit, because there's a lot of things in the game that I think were very good, but then also just for the rest of the season, like what that means for our bye week, Penn State and Iowa, and then heading into a bowl game at the end of the year. Dak had to bring up Lateef's name right from the beginning. He just has to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the conversation piece from the game, right?
Yeah.
He looked really good the first half. I mean, he looked good the game. He just, I don't know. I know you're going to come out really high on it. I thought he didn't really have to do a whole lot. He only had 8 passes in the first half.
You don't have to. You do not have to when the philosophy and the system is designed around that. you don't have to. I don't. There's nothing necessary needed to do. And again, it's UCLA. We'll see
right.
if
It works. It works
against
when
Penn
the team
State.
is one of the worst running defense
Correct.
teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So against Iowa and Penn State, it's not going to be the case.
I think there's a lot of people that need credit for this win, but Dan needs a lot of credit for being able to change the offense like he did in just 1 week. Like, come out there and have the offense flowing like that. And there wasn't really any terrible plays at all I can remember from the offensive side of the ball. Maybe
I'm going to
couple,
say that was our best offensive game from a flow standpoint.
Easily.
Take out
Well,
the high school
we didn't punt until the third quarter or something like that.
Yeah, since Dana's been here, though, it's like you said, flow-wise, it seems like the offense, every game, the offense always has about a quarter and a half where it's just stuck in the
choppy,
mud.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that didn't happen this game.
And I think the best part about it that I appreciated, now you don't complete a couple of passes and you're pissed, but the closing drive to end the game with 4 minutes to go, like we've talked about closing games out. And yes, did this game get more hairy than it needed to? Yes, we could sit here and talk about that forever too. But we actually got the ball up a touchdown, didn't give UCLA a chance to tie it, and ran the clock out. And it involved completing a couple of passes that TJ made. And at the same time, Dana called those plays. And if you don't complete those passes, you go, what the hell is that? Like, make him use a timeout earlier, run the ball. But we did. And that's what matters. And we were able to run the clock out and take 3 knees to end the game with the ball. Again, haven't seen that. So that to me was a big positive or a big sign for this offense in general. And Dak, I agree with you a lot. Dana should get a lot of credit for this. And I've heard a lot of talk about his play calling, his system, his design, whatever that is, with different quarterbacks. And I don't really care. I'm looking at more of the flow in general and the comfortability nature of it. We threw more slants this game. We obviously had some screens. We threw the ball downfield some, but like we didn't see some of those
ever.
Like
it's kind of on the side too. Like, where's that been all year? Too, like, looking at that, I don't. So because
it's a little bit of game script. It's a little bit of game script, right? Like, we had the lead. Like Austin said, we didn't have to. But to me, that's the game script you should have at every game if it works and you're winning, right? Like that's what it should look like if you're in that position. Now we always aren't in that position, and you could be playing from behind, and yeah, it does look different, but you don't want to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, when Emmett can get 5 yards of carry easy, it seems like every time we touch the ball, you don't have to get creative. You just have to make easy, high percentage plays, and that's what it is.
Thanks for bringing Emmett up, because we've gotten this long without even saying his name. I mean, come on, guys. We got something special. Like,
it was good.
Unfortunately, the other topic is going into next year's. He's probably not going to be here because he's going to go to the draft.
Oh, I don't know. Get that checkbook out, Hunter. He might stay.
That's a very loaded question, right? Like, obviously paying money to keep him here, but I think it's a little bit more than that. If you are looking at an NFL career, your shelf life of a running back in the NFL is limited to begin with.
The salary of a running back in the NFL is also limited.
Yeah. So that's the conversation again in the next year. You want to talk about money and how to navigate this thing and just to be frank, Dylan, Emmett, TJ, and Dana, right? Like, and I'm including coaches in there too. Like, you have this money to allocate, and obviously with high name players, and I'm going to throw in a fifth one in there, offensive linemen. I'm not going away from that. Like, just because we looked good and didn't give up a sack today, like that's still the number one most important position that we need to be allocating resources to. So I haven't heard anybody talk about the offensive line this week. Because
the running game looked great.
But that still needs to be the number one focus in the offseason. And if we don't, it's concerning for the future still for me.
Which is it? I did not play football. Sorry to listeners who that's, if it devalues my opinion.
I didn't either. So
is it easier to? My assumption is as a lineman, it's easier to block for runs because you're in total control of what you know exactly what you need to do. You're not you're working with what's in front of you, not what's behind you.
Yeah,
Is that a fair assumption? So in theory, a game where you run the ball 39 times compared to 15 passes, it should be an easier game plan for a worse offensive line.
well, run blocking,
fair?
you got to think is you just got to go find a guy and hit him. Like it's
Right. That's what I'm saying is you're working with the guy in front of you, not the one behind you.
I don't know. I guess it's maybe a simple way to put it. I didn't play offensive line either, but to me, it's two different types of blocking. Yeah. I think it is all still very schematic based. And I know there's very different types of run scheme blocking that different teams utilize, whether it be, they call it zone and man blocking. I mean, pass pro, I would say, is a little bit more coordinated communication to make sure that everybody's accounted for on the blitz. And that's where you see quarterbacks calling out protection and different guys blitzing because you got to make sure everybody's hat on a hat. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, you're to me, run blocking is more fun because it's like I get to go kill somebody versus I'm protecting somebody. That maybe is kind of what you're saying is you're trying to bury someone versus trying not to get buried. So yeah, maybe, yeah.
That was just a thought I had while watching the game because I thought the offensive line looked good. Again, one of the worst running defenses in the league. So there's a reason.
And I'm glad we utilize that and ran Emmett as much as we can. And I've heard very, very wide opinions on Emmett and his usage from everybody. I mean, from fans, and even Dana mentioned it Thursday in his coach's press conference on we can't keep giving Emmett the ball.
He doesn't believe that. He's just saying.
I think that's maybe a message to the players to get other guys to step up. But guys, we don't have it. We don't have the other running backs right now that are even comparable to Emmett. And when Emmett looks like he does, give him the ball 30 times a game.
Right.
And yes, is there a chance that he gets injured because of overusage? Yes, there is. There's always that chance. We've been saying that since game 1 of Cincinnati.
Right. We're already 10 weeks in.
Like, come on. Run him out and use him while we have him. And yes, if that leads to potentially him getting hurt, then that so be it. But we cannot play scared of guys. We said that even with Dylan running the ball. Yeah. I still believe you can't play scared with running the ball with anybody. Now, am I saying that your starting quarterback should go and try to truck people every time? No. But you can't play scared of injury in any sport. If you start playing scared of an injury, that's when injuries usually happen. So Emmett's got to get 30 touches the last 2 games, and I think he will. And he's a dude for doing it. It's awesome. Like it's impressive. And I've heard the Heisman thrown out. Like
he's not going to the Heisman.
Getting an invite, not winning, but getting an invite to New York. He is in I think the All Big Ten should be All Big Ten first team. With what he's done and potentially in the All-American conversation. I do think that if you just look at pure numbers, but then also the impact that he has on this team. Like it's
you can say he's the best running back in Big Ten, like pretty confidently right now.
Yeah. I mean, the Rutgers guy is probably the second best. Is that right? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else. But yeah, he's
Haynes from Michigan. He had a little run there. I just find it interesting, like Isaiah Mosey, like it's not even, they're talking about, we can't just keep giving it to him. I mean, Isaiah Mosey only had 1 carry the whole game. Like it's not like we're testing it out and like it's not working. It's like you give a guy 1 carry and you're like,
but my thought is, and this goes back to Cincinnati, they see it in practice, they see the difference.
I agree. Yep.
And we see the difference in those 1 or 2 snaps. It just looks so much different, slower. So the game's not a time to freaking test out can these other backs do. That's not the time to do it. I mean, maybe against Houston Christian and Akron it is, but not against these Big Ten teams. You can't waste a carry I'm not calling it a waste, but to me, that's not. It's not. They know what they know. They see it, and that's why Emmett's getting the carries that he's getting because he's that much better than these other two. Not saying the other two are bad by any means, but Emmett's just really freaking good right now. So give him the ball as much as we can. That's how we're gonna have to win games, and that's how we should win games. That's I think the style that you want to be. Now you got to do that with an asterisk because of the offensive line. But when you play a team like UCLA with the offensive line we have, it's going to look pretty damn good, and it did.
We only had 4 people catch passes, 4 people run the ball, and 2 of the Ben Emmett Johnson was one of each. So I mean, there was not a lot of people touch for. I mean, again, we kind of stalled out a little bit in the second half, but we also changed how we were playing because we had a big lead.
Lindemeyer didn't have a catch, did he?
Nope.
Yeah, no, I don't think a single
Isaiah
tight end had a
Hunter,
catch.
Corey Barney. Yeah. So, and of the 4 people who ran the ball, only 2, Isaiah Mosey and Hunter Carberg each only had 1 each. So really, we had, 5-man offense operating out there.
Playing basketball or football?
Yeah.
I think that's okay though. I think coaching staff and Dana's very guilty of it. I think people get so caught up in getting guys touches, and I get we live in a little bit of different society where
you got to keep them happy.
But at the same time, right? If you get the right guys in your program that are team focused and not worried about their individual stuff, I know it's hard, but if you get the right mindset into your players that no, we care about the team's performance and the win, and quit worrying about your individual stats and your numbers. Like I'm saying that because it's not easy to do, but the right type of players and the right, good coaches can get your program to think that way. And I just think it's kind of an excuse for saying, well, we got to get this guy the ball and got to get this guy the ball. And their reasoning is that, well, it makes it harder to guard. I get that. It does when you have multiple guys that can do multiple things. But if you don't have the multiple guys, then you don't need to worry about getting the multiple guys the ball. And that's why I don't think we need to get the ball to Mosey and Nelson right now.
All the people that we were excited about going into the year.
Like get them the ball. Get those top 4 or 5 guys the ball, and that's fine. We don't need to Heiner Carberg, great guy. We don't need to get him 3 catches a game. Why? Like
it's past the point of testing stuff out. Like you just got to feed your main players.
It's a belief in what you have. Yes.
Yeah. Which comes back to again, whereas it's been all year, but we'll just be happy this podcast. All right, great win. We don't got to worry about where it's been all year.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, it does. It makes you a little more frustrated. To your point, Dak, about why we haven't looked this way, and specifically why does it look so bad at times, right? Part of that's just growth and development throughout a season. That's part of it. And yeah, you wish you could look like you wish you could have your best performance in game 1. Maybe you don't. But Rule said it all along. You want to be playing your best football by the time you get to November. And that's where we're at. We obviously we got to win in November. Now we have 2 more opportunities to do that. So we're learning still. It's also year 3 to just to show out and perform and prove that we are taking steps forward. And I think we did that.
Also, where's it been all year? There's one big change of this game, and it's the quarterback position. So
let's not act like our 28 points has been untouchable all year. Our offense has not been totally stagnant all year.
No. And that's not what we're saying. And this is not a Hunter Zarbernicki biased offense. This is a take I have heard from every podcast that I've listened to recap that our offense this game was the most efficient, the best flow. Everything about it was better than what we've seen throughout this year so far. And
there's one big reason behind that too. What's kind of killed the offense this year? 0 sacks.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like no sacks that kill that drive.
If your quarterback doesn't drop back, you can't get sacked.
Yeah, there's that, and that's what kills all these flows of the or all season has been killing these flows is usually it felt like a sack a drive at least, and when you're 2nd and 20, you're screwed already. So that's the end of that drive.
No, we played. I mean, we didn't have any penalties. We didn't have. any turnovers.
Clean. Play
Yeah.
calling, we said that was very good. And yeah, we're going to talk about just the quarterback play in general and Latif. And Austin, I'm not going to argue with you about Latif versus Dylan this whole podcast. But what I am going to preface is I think the underlying reason why things look so good was having a mobile quarterback with the ability to run. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. I'm not saying that TJ should be the exact future yet for the program. I'm not saying that yet. Now, win our last 2 games, we can talk after Iowa. But because it says UCLA, it's the first look at it. A mobile quarterback opens up so many things. And I'm not saying a run first quarterback either, because we've gone down that road. We've seen the Jeff Sims, the Heinrich Harburgs, the Chubba Purdy's that can't throw it a lick. Okay. And we've seen the complete mobile quarterbacks. That doesn't work either. Okay. But I think the ability to be mobile in the pocket and I could, and I'm going to list like 10 or 15 reasons why that opened up our offense this week and why it helped. Now, again, I want to see it against Penn State and Iowa too, to believe that that's our future moving forward. But I do think play calling is a lot easier. And guess what? We have a second running back in the backfield now too, that defenses, from a defensive play caller standpoint, when the guy back there can run, and we can flip it on Nebraska's defense with mobile quarterbacks because we see it on the other side, it opens up a ton for your offense as far as what defenses have to scheme and prepare for. That is a, I'm not saying it's Latif versus Dylan. I'm saying general football. That's a true statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying happened this week.
Yeah.
Why the big reason why our offense looked that way and why we didn't have to throw it, because they couldn't stop our run game. So, and your run game now includes a quarterback and a guy that when every time you come out there, and instead of when you have a zone read or a handoff and defense can just almost guarantee and assume the ball's going right there to Emmett, you have to now be cautious on what you're doing. Okay. When you're rushing the passer, you
can't
no longer can just pin your ears back and say,
yep,
let's freaking get to him. You have to put on contain a little bit and have that hat on, which again, Nebraska's seen that on the defensive side. A whole nother thing too. This is a concept thing that's also true. You can't play as much man coverage and just man guys up. What have teams been doing to us? They've been hatting us because they know Dylan can't run. Well, guess what? When teams man coverage you and you have a mobile quarterback, and those guys, those DBs and those safeties, their eyes are not in the backfield at all. You're focused on a man. You can't play as much man coverage because that quarterback, when they see man coverage, and if they don't have their first or second read, they go, okay, well, I got a whole bunch of green ahead of me and I can do that. Yeah. All of that stuff is a concept thing for defensive coordinators that when a guy back there can run, you're thinking. When they can't run, okay, it's a lot easier to game plan for. And Dylan's obviously a very elite passer. He's very, very good at passing, but he can't run. We've seen that time and time again. Even though we thought maybe he could.
This game kind of proved it, even though he didn't play, it proved it more. He can't run. Like, just
Dylan didn't play this game, Dak.
I know. I said he didn't play, but it proves how much he can't run if Latif is having that much running room and stuff. Like,
it doesn't prove that Dylan can't run. We've known Dylan can't run. It shows that TJ can run, which we knew.
Yeah. Which we can dive into it. The main difference is between TJ and Dylan is, and I think this is it. Why did the O-line look so much better this game? It's like,
I'll say one thing, because it was UCLA and their rush defense was the worst. To me, that's a big part of it.
You can throw that in there too, but I think it's because, like you've been saying, the mobile quarterback. You can't just tee off all game. And
correct. And I think that is another big part of it too. I'm waiting for that to prove the point here.
Yeah, you can't say it with a matter of fact yet.
I'm waiting, which I'm saying that from just looking at quarterbacks in general and perspective. Like, I do think that's a big reason. We'll see against Penn State and Iowa. Maybe they'll just tee off on us too. But I think that, adding that element, it just helps it helps the entirety of the offense when your quarterback has a threat to run. That is the, and I listed three. I could just from a schematic standpoint, there's so much to it. Now, like I said, you can't sacrifice being able to throw the ball, and
I think
that was the concern.
I think the biggest difference this game was they were all mostly short passes. They're all within, they're all basically under 15 yards. Even our big passes were basically broken out plays. Great, Emmett Johnson was a big screenplay. And it was basically if his first read wasn't there, he's going. Whereas Dylan, he takes a little bit more time. If his first read's not there, he waits. He looks for his second read, looks back to his first read.
But what's great to me is that works, right? That works.
He only had to run it 5 times.
And that's what's great is that part works. Guys, we've gave Dylan the reins to, I mean, we said it, the reins to run it like an NFL quarterback, right? Like sometimes you don't need to overdo it and overcomplicate it. Like give him a couple of reads, and if it's not there, like run it. And it opens up what were a lot of our passes on this game? Play action and screens. Well, guess what? When you have a mobile quarterback and you can get him outside the pocket, I've even said it. We need to get Dylan outside the pocket more. Like,
yep.
When you do that, it opens things up and the ability to run. But if we're scared of Dylan getting hurt, whatever that reason is, we have not shown to do that under Dylan. Now maybe Dana was going to do it with Dylan if he was healthy. Obviously you have Latif this week. That's why our passing game was, I mean, TJ didn't miss a pass for a long time. And yeah, they were easy throws, but that's how to play football and win. In my mind, that you don't, how many fades did we throw?
None, thank God.
I don't know if we
least favorite football play out there.
We didn't have to. Now, maybe games we're going to have to, but not if you have if the game script goes like that in every game. And I'm not saying it will, but it definitely could. Like you don't have to. That's how Iowa's played for years, and they win 9-10 games every year. That's how Wisconsin used to play. That's how Minnesota plays. Like that to me is how you have to play to start. And a lot of all this is the base of an offensive line. We have just tried to. I think we've tried to overcomplicate stuff with Dylan a lot, and that's when our offense looks mucky. That's why. Now it's looked good. It's looked good at times too, but it has not looked this well flowed through an entire game. And I just think adding that mobile quarterback is a huge piece of that. It's the number one reason that flow happened.
I'd put probably that as number 2. Number 1 is the worst defense, one of the worst defenses in the Big Ten.
And that's why I'm caveating it. I gotta see it still for more games before my mind completely.
If it works against Penn State and Iowa, then you have it works against Iowa. That's the one where it's like, man, okay,
correct.
This is something.
Can you agree with me on this, Austin? Though I think Hunter does. With this offensive line, with how bad it is, Latif is the better option than Raiola.
No, I disagree.
I think we have
player out there. I have a terrible offensive line. The ball. We didn't have to pass the ball this game. In a game where we need to pass the ball, I'd rather have
So this is the give and take to what you're saying, Austin. I agree. The give and take is, and I like scales. I like putting it on a scale of 1 to 100. Dylan's probably as far as a college quarterback, he's probably in the 80s or 90s on a passing from just a accuracy, arm talent, all of that. Dylan's probably an 80 to a 90. I would say his rushing on a scale of 0 to 100 is compared to all quarterbacks in college football, I'd give it a 10.
10? Yeah, 10 to 20, somewhere around there.
TJ, I'd say right now, his ability to run from all quarterbacks in college football is in the 70s, probably, is where I would put him.
Know. I haven't seen him run enough.
From what we've seen, that's where
I've only seen him against the high school teams, and then he ran it 4 or 5 times this game, and I don't like
I'm putting in 7 to 8, 70 to 80. I would say his passing, again, for the same reason, we don't know. Like we haven't seen it be tested. I think I'm gonna believe right now. I'm gonna put him in around the 50 mark. I don't know that, but if Austin is one person to believe that he's a horrible passer and he's like Jeff Sims and he's like a 10 or 15 passing.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying if that's what you think, then
okay.
if that's what you think, and some people think that he's a horrible passer, well, then I can easily see, well, yeah, no, we've tried the running quarterback thing. It doesn't work. I'm thinking that it's better to have a quarterback in a game like this, like Latif, who is not a horrible passer, but he's got a very, very, he's worse than Dylan for sure passing, but he's way better than him at running the ball. It just, your offense is going to look a lot better. And back to your point with this offensive line, 100% with an average to below average offensive line, having a quarterback that can run is
yes, I agree with
so
that
much better.
statement, but I just don't think most of the next games we're not going to get 28-7 in the third quarter. Like
I
this
don't
was the perfect game
don't
script
think
for
so either.
TJ's first game. And when the fourth quarter came around and it started to get a little bit tighter and they had to make him pass a couple times, that's when he started missing passes.
And that's what we'll see next couple of games, right? But
when it wasn't
what I'll be curious, Austin, what if we're up 21-7 on Penn State in the third quarter?
And then it's a different conversation.
Yes.
I'm not gonna take, yeah, like I said, he only ran it 5 times. It was against one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. And when we weren't 2nd and 4 every down, he had to start passing the ball and it started to look a little different.
You pulled up the ran it 5 times. I know stats are something, but
I understand I know what you're gonna say. You're
perception.
Gonna say they have to game plan for him to run, and he didn't have to run.
No. The perception of his ability to run, regardless of how many times he ran, the fact that he can run, and I mean, UCLA knew he could run going into the game. It's not like they thought, I don't know, can this back? No, they knew he was a better runner than passer. They knew that going into the game. That perception, regardless of how many attempts he had, that ability, I think, helped the flow of our offense. And so, you maybe aren't as high on, maybe you're not at 70 or 80 on him and running the ball.
I haven't seen him do it against a good team yet.
Yeah.
In a way, like, I mean, UCLA's quarterback had how many yards? 90 yards on 15 carries. You know, like that's a sample. Like that's a good sample size for me to be like, okay, yeah, that dude can run.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. This is maybe a hot topic. I would take Nico in a heartbeat next year.
Whoa, okay.
I wouldn't. I think that's like it's. I think no, I don't. I think that's not a hot.
Nico to me is a better TJ right now. I shouldn't say better, a more proven TJ. He's a more proven.
I agree with that.
Okay, yeah, more proven.
And TJ could end up being Nico potentially. Like we don't know that, but that he's not. Nico's got the stature too with it. That's the thing. Like
I'm just not high on Nico. I'm not. I do not think he's.
I will say this, Dak, though. You would take TJ over Nico right now, based on what you've seen
going in next season.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that.
Which that's probably harder to take than what you just said. But
that Houston Christian game really sticks in.
I just don't think Nico's that good of a passer. I don't.
And you think TJ is? I guess you can as a fan and a podcaster, you can just assume that he is without seeing it, and you can do that.
You know, after we're on a podcast, yeah, TJ's a better passer than Nico.
Yeah. We got
that you're right. It's still a lot proven, and again, we can talk about next year all we want. I've heard people have gone down that path, and that's what fans are going to do. It's already going down. I've heard someone say like TJ Latif is the future at Nebraska, and I'm gonna say, and he's like, I'm gonna say it because I can, and I'm overreacting after one game, but I'm gonna say it, and I'm not there. Could he be? Yes.
What's your? No, I don't know if this was just Saturday talk. What's your main? How am I gonna say this? What does Dylan have to do for you to be the quarterback next year in Nebraska?
Yeah, lose 25 pounds. Lose 20 pounds. Yeah. Like,
I don't think it's what does Dylan have to do. It's what does TJ not have to do. If TJ
a little bit of
games,
it,
you're going to be all in on TJ. But if TJ comes out and has 3 fumbles, in the next 3 games and 3 interceptions, and we lose both games by 7 or more points because our offense can't move because he can't pass the ball, and
then there's no question.
Back and Emmett returns to earth.
I talked to Jackson this morning, and
oh god,
he made a good point. He said, "Do you think Dylan watches that game and goes a little bit like, huh? Like that's what they want me to do, like I can do that. Like from just a
for sure. If that's what you're gonna like, because he could hit all of those passes that.
well, right. If that's the philosophy, which I love that philosophy of how he played. If Dylan, do you think Dylan? I hope Dylan watches that game and goes, man, if I can just be more mobile, that would our offense can be really freaking like. I hope he's looking at that, and I hope Dana and Rule, I hope they all look at that and go, no, Dylan, you need to lose 20, 25 pounds for next year. And to me, if Dylan does that, I can't remember texted you guys. I think I did. Dylan will be a Heisman Trophy front runner in my mind if he loses 20, 25 pounds and is able to move. I'm not saying like Latif, but like move from a 10 to 20 in that scale of 100 to like a 40. Okay. Dylan will be such an elite quarterback, elite in college football if he does that.
And
we thought he was going to do that this year. We were told he looks better. He moved from a
zero,
a 2 in the pocket to a 3 from being able to be elusive. It got better, but like this much. Like that to me should hopefully be obvious to them. But what I'm scared of is if Latif looks, and man, we lose our last 2 games. Maybe we go win our bowl game. Like we're obviously going to stick with Dylan and we're going to roll him back out. And as is, when I think there's a little bit of hopefully signs that no, having good and bad from earlier in the year of not having a mobile quarterback to seeing maybe what some mobility can do to an offense. Hopefully that's a sign. And do we take initiative on that with Dylan? Dylan in his current stature and state, and Dak, you made a great point. He's going to be in a freaking cast. And
all I'm going to say is
not do shit
real
for
easy.
How long?
Real easy to put on, Dylan, if you're listening, real easy to put on weight when you're in a cast. Yeah. So I'm just saying, don't eat BK and McDonald's and all that while you're in this cast. Like eat healthy. From experience, it's real easy. You can put on 70 pounds real quick in a cast. So just be careful for the next 6 weeks or however long you're in a cast. Eat healthy.
And I also heard people talking about Dana saying Dana is much more comfortable with a dual threat quarterback because that's what he's used to, and he likes to call plays that way. And part of me is I maybe agree with that, but what's weird is there's a fine line of building your offense around Dylan because of Dylan's skill set and capabilities, and I think that's what Dana's been trying to do. And then now you have a different set of skill set at quarterback, so now you do something different. I don't think that that this was Dana's offense. This is what Dana's offense looks like. We said that with Dylan too. I think it's just your ability to adjust with the type of quarterback you have back there. We just look so much more comfortable this week because of all the things I said earlier with a mobile quarterback. And I think that helps. It just adds another element to your offense in numerous ways. And Dylan doesn't have that yet, but I hope it opens some brain cells that, man, we need to have a little bit more, or on the flip side, spend 5-10 million on offensive linemen, because I think Dylan would be in the Heisman Trophy front runner list too if he played for Alabama and or Georgia and or some. He would be. He would be. Yeah. Because we don't have one the line, but two the skill players around him for that. That's what we have right now, and so that's where I'm like I don't know. Like our current offensive line state and Dylan, it's not here. It's not meshed. And Dak, that answers what kind of your question earlier to me and how I feel about that. But again, Penn State and Iowa are going to tell us a lot too, because they're two programs that are at or better than us right now.
Yeah, Iowa's scary.
I will. Yep. Can we all agree on this right now? Like I've asked a couple things. I don't think we've all agree. Anyway, come out of this game. There's no shot in hell both these Dylan and Latif are on the roster next year, right?
I wouldn't say no shot in hell, but I had that same thought. I was like, if TJ comes out and looks good, one of them's probably transferring.
Yeah. Even if TJ doesn't look good the last 2 games, I still think it's going to be hard to retain a guy like that's. I'm sorry, you can't spend a shit ton of money on two quarterbacks.
No.
Go spend it on offensive linemen versus spending it on two quarterbacks.
And there's other reasons too why you can't, not just money wise. You can't just have two quarterbacks like that and
you can't be paying a guy. You can't be paying a guy $2 million to sit on the bench.
No, and people are gonna be calling for the other person's name. Like you just can't have that.
So you're right. I don't know where this will go next year, and then like I said, I don't want to speculate, but I just think it's going to be hard to pay. Then you talk about paying Hemet, which I think that could be a lost cause, but you never know. And then paying coordinators and paying I think paying offensive linemen. That's to me still most important thing. And then we haven't even talked about defense. So that to me is where Rule is right, and he sees it. He's talked about the $40 million roster and the extra. Like he sees all that, and he knows that you need that kind of capital to compete with the top of the top and the best of the best. Which I'm glad he still is seeing that vision and thinking of that vision, because that's where we want to get to. That's glory.
I will add, we haven't talked about it at all, but it's a good thing we got up 28-7 because our defense did not look great. Basically, it just didn't look great. They weren't bad. They were fine.
Yeah, okay. I would say, yeah.
But if they, if UCLA has one more, on that 4th and 1, where they called that weird run play instead of just running it up the middle, it's a different conversation. So you're not talking about the offense still looks good, but then you're talking about something else.
Yep. Defense has been a weird conversation too. I don't have actually too many strong opinions of it, which is why we haven't talked about it yet. I've heard people that like are callers after the game calling for John Butler's head even after that game and think he's
not that far.
And then I've heard the opposite of give John Butler all the credit in the world, and he's one of the top defensive or one of the top coordinators in the Big Ten. I mean, I've heard such a spectrum of what people think of John Butler in this defense.
I'd cut that right down the middle of what you just said. Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, that's fans just overreacting to it all. Some people think that he's horrible at adjusting. Some people think that because we've held 8 straight opponents, I think it was 8 or 9 under, maybe it was more than that. I don't even know what the stat is, under 400 yards of total offense. Like people said that's the first time we've done that since like 09, I think, in that deep or 010 or 10 with Sue and those guys. Like that's also people are pointing out the positive. I don't.
Like I said, it's just something like it started to look a little sour there at the end with the.
Yeah, there's good. There's a lot of good things
but yeah,
and Butler said this after or maybe before the Cincinnati game about making Sorsby look like a high school quarterback, which is what Nico ended up being by the end of that game. It was all right. Like Nico, go try to win you that game, running it for like being just a stud. And he tried to, and he did had a lot of obviously good first down runs and making our tacklers look stupid at times. But at the same time, he never broke one. He never made elite plays where it won him the game. So it just was it got closer than you would have liked it to. A couple of those drives were like 14 play. The one drive I think was a 14 play, 96-yard drive. And I can't remember.
Longest of the year for you. Like UCLA's 2 longest drives of the year were in the second half.
Maybe it was Michigan that had a 98-yard drive or someone early on. I can't remember who it was in Big Ten play. Like those things go a little bit like you wish that wouldn't happen.
I didn't walk out of that game saying John Butler should be fired. That's
no, I didn't either. It's just an interesting, like when UCLA called that terrible 4th and 1, because they were moving the ball really well, and they called some weird, not run. Like if they had just ran it up the middle, they probably would have gotten it because they were just moving it on us with ease. I was just like, man, if they get this, I think they're probably going to go down and score because they're pretty freaking close. And then it gets tight, and then that's when your freshman quarterback gets put in a position where he has to do something, and he hadn't had to do anything yet.
Yep.
And it all worked out. That's all hypothetical, but I was just like, it's just a weird feeling with the defense where it's like, I don't feel good about you, but I don't have a reason to feel bad about you yet. But
I'm not sold on John Butler. I don't at
I'm not
all.
sold on him. I won't say I'm
No.
like I'm not saying he's perfect, but I can't. It's tough to criticize a defense when you're 7-3, and
Yeah.
one of those losses was definitely an offensive. And UCLA, you held the best offense in the country relatively.
USC, yep.
Or sorry, USC, and then the Minnesota game, your offense was absolutely abysmal. So it's like, well, it's not really the defense's fault, but gosh, they don't make it easy, and I don't know. It's just interesting.
Here's what I still think is the core. Why? Let's say this: our defense last game against USC, from a numbers perspective, you mentioned the number one offense. Pretty damn good performance just from overall. This game, again, not glamorous, but not horrible. Like, I thought we played their receivers very well. Quarterback run game obviously was still an issue, but I thought overall, again, okay. Where I just still think the problem lies is same with the offense, is up front, plugging the holes. And guess what? Penn State and Iowa are going to try to exploit that to the death, just like Minnesota did. And that's where, do we have an answer for that? Like, UCLA and USC aren't those type of teams. So that maybe is why it's looked the way it did. Michigan State and Northwestern want to be Iowa's and Penn State's type of offense, but they're not quite as good at it. So we're able to do enough to win those games. Minnesota obviously broke that barrier. Penn State and Iowa, we're going to see a team like that again. So that to me is where the problem lies. And I think that just comes down to a lack of having who is our best defensive player right now? Do you have an answer?
Yeah, no. I mean, Sire, right? Maybe.
Archie Wilson.
Archie.
That's what's hard is there's not a clear-cut answer. There's no one that's the focal point. Singleton, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. And in the past few years, or when your defense is really good, guess what? You can name who your best player is, and guess where they play? The defensive line.
Yeah.
So that to me is where that's the issue right now. And I think, myself included, I was, out of any of us three, I thought Riley Van Poppel was going to be that dude to step up and impress people. He really hasn't.
Piet Zach, or what? How do you pronounce his name? Piet
Peshak, however you say, Peshak.
There you go. I'm not from a Polish area of Nebraska. Don't have those names. He looks really good the last couple of games. I've noticed him.
He has. And we've had some other guys step in. Dylan George came in and played some big minutes this game as well. So we've had some different faces. That's just because I think we're trying to find guys that can do that job and do it well. Elijah Judy's been there, but it's not like he's been huge. Williams is still, to me, too tiny and small, and like he's not big enough yet. So we are young, and we're not gonna make that an excuse, but at the same time, that's the missing part of the defense.
Yep.
Up front. So
that's all I got on UCLA.
I got a little bit on UCLA. Don't you guys feel horrible for all those fans that UCLA has after that loss? Like, we got to give them some respect.
They're having a good time. They knew what they were there for. Like, honestly, like, they were down 28-7, and they were still out there having a good time, clapping. All those excited for punting the ball.
All those 5,000 fans they had.
I don't know what the final tally was, but I think you can say with certainty there were more Nebraska fans than UCLA.
It was their most attended game I saw, which is insane, because that was like half full. But
I think they got somewhere in the 50,000s is what I heard, and I think the estimated was like 25,000 Nebraska fans there. My uncle was at the game. He said 10 minutes before the game there were probably 15 to 20,000 in there, and 15,000 were Nebraska fans. Like, so obviously UCLA fans filled in, and I think you just see that with some of those. They have so much other stuff going on, and when you're mediocre to below average, you don't care. Obviously, Nebraska fans, we know how we are, and I don't think anybody's surprised that that's the way the stadium looked. It's still cool. It's still neat every time you see it, but it's not a surprise anymore that that's what happens on those games.
Yeah, other than that, I would like to give a shout out to the UCLA cheer team. Very, very good performance out there.
There's one snap. Oh, it was our first touchdown that Dak was.
Corey Barney, great review.
He is just drooling over the backdrop
of the Rose Bowl. Yeah.
So yeah, we have a bye week now, which I think is, it's a good time to reset and 2 games left, get healthy, try to get fresh with as much as we can to go give our last 2 games our best shot. Like we said past couple episodes, we were kind of looking at games in chunks, and after that Minnesota game, or specifically going into the USC game, I think I wanted to win 3 or 4. Like that's still on the table, even though we didn't beat USC last week or 2 weeks ago. It's still there, and if you want to believe and have a lot of faith that, like myself, that a running quarterback can do that trick against better teams, then I'm excited for those 2 games. It makes let's just say this, it's the most tuned into Husker football that I think all of us have been, because we have 7 wins in November.
Yep. Good year.
Even though there's no playoff implications, there obviously are some bowl games, which we haven't talked about at all. And I heard some other podcasts talking about the locations, which we'll get into at some point. But it's a conversation that we can enjoy, because we haven't had that since this podcast has existed.
The locations I've been hearing, it sound like a fun time.
I've heard like 3 or 4. Which one are you referring to?
Vegas, Nashville.
Yeah. I've heard Vegas, Nashville, Tampa. So,
other than that, great weekend all around.
What?
You were just gonna say it, but great weekend all around for Nebraska sports.
That's true. We won volleyball, basketball, women's basketball, wrestling.
What I was saying, a big missed opportunity on Nebraska athletics to have an all-day experience at PBA.
Yeah.
Starting at noon, ending at the end of the football game, between men's basketball, volleyball, women's basketball, football. I was sitting there during the basketball game that we went to, and I was like, man, this could have been a hell of a day here. And you could have brought in some like food vendors and some different things and different events and made it an all-day thing. Now, you don't know the times of all those games early in advance, so there's probably some coordination things, but it was a very good weekend. Basketball team covered again on Saturday against Florida International.
You know what? Screw it. I'm going to say about basketball team, because you're not sold them yet. I want to make a bet on this podcast that they are going to make the tournament. The men's basketball team is going to make the NCAA tournament. Now, if they don't, I don't know what.
Tournament game. That's the real bet, Dak.
You know what? They're going to win a tournament game this year. If they don't, we'll make the bet at some point. It's on a whim. It's 7 a.m. I don't think we're bet ready, but
I'm ready.
We'll figure out.
What do you want? What do you want? While you're saying this, while I have you, what do you want?
What?
Shave your head.
No, not that. we ain't
that confident. I'm that confident. I'm very confident.
Yeah, that they're going to win a tournament game?
That we will not win a tournament
game. Wow.
Okay, hold up. So it'll be me versus you.
You're going to throw this out there and ask me not to respond? We've played 2 Sisters of the Blind and Deaf teams. Like,
wow. Okay, all those FIU listeners they're done. But all right, whatever.
They're gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
But what do you want to? Yeah, I'm glad you went into. I was even gonna do, but no, we're at a win a tournament game now, so let's go there.
I bumped them up.
Yeah, I don't want to go that far, but Austin.
No, we
Austin,
are. You just said that.
No,
I pushed into that.
I'm in the corner now. I'll take it. Yeah, they're gonna win a tournament game.
For what? What do you want the bet to be?
We will have that come Thursday.
No,
Thursday.
I want it now, because you're going to change your mind by Thursday.
No, he can't.
No, I can't. I'm in. We'll have the bet ready by Thursday.
Okay. We're not going to do like something soft, because that's what you're going to want to do, because you're not going to like, you're going to be scared of your side.
Loser has to prick their finger.
That is not very concerning.
The winner gets to prick the loser's finger.
Dak, you got all your Oklahoma gear ready to wear Saturday?
Yes, I do.
Basketball game.
Yep, I'm actually coming down to your house tonight to get it.
Austin, I took all of his Oklahoma clothes. You'd be amazed
Funny.
how many Oklahoma things that he has.
That's funny.
How many shirts do you think Dak has at Oklahoma? What's your
Oh
guess?
gosh. 6.
I think it's closer to 16.
Holy shit.
You should I have them all in my house right now. It's a lot. I didn't realize until I started taking it shit out of his closet and just started pulling stuff. Like, oh my god, there's another.
Uh-huh.
For a fake fan, that's pretty impressive.
Hey, what can I say? We're coming up on the big Blood Oath game this Saturday. We'll be there. OU Nebraska. We'll preview that Thursday, but
Blood Oath game's over. You have
While you're in Sioux Falls, the U.S. Olympic curling trials, they're also going on. So you can probably watch some curling.
in Sioux Falls?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tickets are pretty cheap.
Maybe Austin. Maybe we'll pick Austin up on the way there.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I have some things going on this weekend that require my attendance.
All righty. We'll be back Thursday. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.